Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where this is not us. We're not playing up here. We are Australia, but apparently we're up here. That's fine. We're cruising forward on speed 5 here, just because there's not a lot for us to do in this early game. We're mostly working on getting our economy online, but we're going to keep an eye on what's going on with the German Civil War here, and ultimately the Reich is going to lose. We pretty much already knew that. That's fine. That does mean that I don't know how the world tension is going to go this game. That's going to be really interesting to see. I'm not 100% certain on that. Also, this lag that you can probably see here, that's caused by being on speed 5. Just because it runs as fast as possible, it's much smoother on speed 4. We'll try to run on speed 4 most of the time, but for now we'll be on speed 5 just because we need to cruise through these as quickly as we can, and there's not much else we can do, in all honesty. So that'll be fine. Okay, so we're about 3 days away from finishing the South Australian Housing Trust. There we go. And next up, we are going to go for, well, either way, we're going to get military factories here. We're not going to be able to go for the Allied Works Council yet, even though I'm very, very interested in that, because we have to go down the Civil Construction Corps route. So that's not an option just yet. So grabbing this is kind of pointless at this point, I would think. And instead, we need to take expanding the Lithgow Small Arms Factory. There we go. We'll go that route for now. The Bulgarian government has condemned the IMRO. Now, I was kind of clicking through these previously before, but I think I'm going to start reading through these because things are going to be a little weird, and I want a little bit more context. So earlier today, the Bulgarian leader Boris III has issued an official statement showing his rejection towards the Internal Macedonian Revolutionary Organization and publicly condemning their activities. The Bulgarian Minister of Interior has also announced the implementation of a package of extraordinary measures that will allow the government to allocate more resources to take active action against the IMRO and root out this terrorist organization once and for all. With this pronouncement, it seems that finally the Bulgarian government seeks to end one of the greatest sources of conflict and tension in the Balkans. Well, I wish them luck for that one. It's going to be complicated. That's for sure. It seems that the IMRO has its days numbered. Okay, so that's great. We're going to proceed here. I'm sure that will go great for Bulgaria. I'm sure there will never be any Balkans issues at all ever again. I'm pretty sure that World War I solved all of those, right? I say as I look at today's headlines. Oh boy. Yeah, that's exciting. Nationalist Spain has declared war on Spain. Okay, so the Spanish Civil War is happening. That's pretty normal. We'll see who ends up winning it. Well, is it only going to be the two factions? For now, that's all it is for the moment, but there may well be more later on. And the German Civil War has ended. The civil war that has racked Germany has now come to an end. The fighting was extraordinarily intense, with fanatical resistance by the Nazis causing devastation on a scale reminiscent of the Great War. It appears that Hitler is dead and the Nazi leadership imprisoned or executed. The provisional government has now announced that it is necessary to secure their hold over the state and ensure the return of stability to the nation before there can be any thought of embarking on a process of constitutional reforms. Let us hope the new regime is more accommodating. So that is now done. Fantastic. No problems up here. And that probably means that going down this tree over here to grab Protect the Dutch Colonies is likely not going to happen, at least not in the traditional sense. We'll see how that ends up going. We do have a research slot available. Computing machine is pretty far ahead of time for now. We could grab radio. I don't think that's super important right now. We're probably not going to go to war for at least a couple of years here. So I don't think it's super important to go down that route at this moment. I would like to grab improved machine tools. That's only slightly ahead of time. Another interesting option here would be construction 2, and I think that would be the better choice at this moment, just to help us construct even faster. I mean, I say even faster. We only have the 5 civilian factories right now, but that number will increase pretty dramatically as we speed on forward. Why is this division... Why did that have a slash through it like that? Now it doesn't. Okay, I don't have an explanation for that. There's like a blue slash right here. Maybe that was indicating something with our overlord? I'm not sure what that meant. That was a little strange. But sure. We'll just proceed for the moment. That's okay. Japan is, I think, being pretty well behaved here. Like, if we look at Japan, I mean, they're led by Hirohito, but they empowered Hirohito rather than their military, so that's a thing. The games of the 11th Olympiad have happened in the devastated and newly rebuilding Berlin. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, this is, I think, a pretty standard event. The games are concluded. We'll just skip on through that one. I don't feel like that requires all that much more context. Lots of issues in Spain. We're not surprised by this. Okay. And there's our focus done. Fantastic. So next up, we are, I think, going to expand the Northern Railway, and we will see if that means that our proposed railway up here, which we have proposed here, if that's actually going to be done already. If that is, if that's the case, that's great. I'm very, very happy about that. We're going to want to build our civilian factories anyway for the moment, and we own 13 civilian factories. We're currently using 9 for consumer goods. That's a lot. We're on an export focus right now, which does give us construction speed. We would need political power to move down to limited exports. Yeah, we're currently sending 50% of resources to market. That's quite a lot, to be sure. That is quite a lot. I wouldn't necessarily mind modifying our officer corps, but I don't feel, well, I don't feel like we really need to right now because we are earning experience in all 3 categories. But at the same time, my question is, what are we going to spend our political power on if it's not that? We need Excavation 3 to exploit our bauxite deposits. So that's a thing. And I would like... I can see that we need some of these for reinforcements. So I think I'm going to toss in our extra civilian, or rather our extra military factories onto our infantry equipment for the moment. I think that I am going to toss in a theorist here. Well, that's only doctrine costs. I don't think we're going after doctrine for right now. Doctrine does cost us experience, so we do want to build up our experience. So if we were to have, like, this infantryman, that would give us a lot of army experience. Not a terrible concept. So we'll do that for the moment. How's that Spanish Civil War going? It is, obscured. Okay, it's less obscured now. They want to provide us some rifles. Sure, we'll accept their rifles. That's fine. So the Civil War is progressing. They've got these pockets up here. Estonia declared war on the Estonian People's Republic. So that's interesting. That's going to be a pretty minor war, I think. I suspect, anyway. So for now, I mean, we have a little bit of world tension, but overall, there's not very much. And that's okay. We're not super surprised about that one. Concentrated Industry 1 has finished up, and for the moment, I want to assign our new unit over into this army. Cool. And we're going to have some manpower issues. There's no doubt about that, but we will work on it. We can select a technology here, and I think now we go for improved machine tools or excavation 1. One or the other. Yeah, we're still a little bit ahead of time on our computing machines. So I think that we go for, well, any of these 3 would be pretty decent. This has yeah, this has the biggest boost, so we'll go for that. Cool. Okay. So our research is coming along nicely. As far as our construction goes, we have 10 factories here. Sad. Very, very sad. The people expect 51% of our number of civilian and military factories to produce consumer goods. This need is filled by civilian factories only, leaving us with 4 factories where 4 can be used for trade. Okay, we finished up that railway. Let's see how that looks. I don't actually see a difference. Okay, sure. Hi, pause menu. So we're going to hop into our national focus here. We could go for uranium mining. I don't think that's super useful right now. We need expand Australian, or rather we need this. So we can't get uranium mining for the moment. So I think what we're going to end up doing, we cannot do this. We can go into appeasement or never another Gallipoli, which we're probably going to end up going to never another Gallipoli. But I think for now, we could work on either our military boosts over here, our air boosts, but I think we're going to go for the Navy. Getting 3 new naval dockyards is a pretty big deal. So let's go ahead and grab that. Fantastic. We have a good amount of steel at the moment as well. So getting ourselves boosted up navally, I think would be a good idea here. And I don't think I ever actually mentioned it in the last episode. I did in the premiere leave a message in the premiere chat stating what our overall plan was, but I'm not sure I ever actually said that in the last episode. So the plan here is to remain democratic, and we are going to attempt to create a Pacific alliance here and eventually take over Japan, who may or may not be doing dastardly things. We'll see. It looks like they're mostly chilling for the moment. But, I mean, the Spanish Civil War is still going on, so timing-wise, they've got time. This appears to just be a 2-faction civil war so far. We'll see if any others spring up. But so far, it's just the 2, which, in my testing, is a little unusual. Cool. So these constructions are slow. There's no doubt about that. And that's mostly because we're on that civilian economy right now. I wouldn't mind moving to early mobilization. Oh. Now that is spicy. Black shirts have organized in the United Kingdom. Under the leadership of Oswald Mosley, the British Union of Fascists has begun an organized campaign of marches across the country, thus seeking to grow the number of fascist supporters throughout the United Kingdom. The violent counter-reaction by anti-fascist elements of the public have already caused a number of street fights, however, and it's uncertain whether stability will be maintained or whether the political unrest will become even worse. The BUF leadership, for their part, have already vowed not to stop until they have marched on Downing Street and demanded a change of government. Let us see if they manage to avoid civil war. Well, that's going to be very interesting. If Britain is going to go that route, that gives us a very good reason to sever ties with them. And we'll see what ends up happening. I just tried to pan with WASD and ended up opening up the research menu. Now I know that that's hotkeyed to W, but I will probably never, ever, ever use that. Okay, so we're going to hop back down over here, and our constructions are proceeding very slowly. If we wanted to pull off of a civilian economy here, we could go to early mobilization. We do have the war support for it, and actually we just got the political power for that. We could actually even go to partial mobilization. We could. Fascinating. And that's just straight up a good thing. Yeah, there's no reason not to do this, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to hop over to partial mobilization. Fantastic. So we can continue to work on putting in political advisors and production stuff, additional military staff. That's all stuff that we can work on. We got improved machine tools, and we're going to grab ourselves next. I do think that we go for computing machines soon, but maybe not quite yet. Excavation 1 is a little bit faster here, so let's go ahead and take that for the moment. I want to be focused very heavily on our economy for the moment, and yeah, that brought us up to 6 constructing factories here, so that was a 50% increase in our construction speed. That's huge. We need a new national focus, and we can choose to either fly the Jolly Roger, which would be more submarines, or we can protect overseas commerce for fleet in being and convoy defense doctrines. Okay. I think this is more thematic for what we're going for here. So we will protect overseas commerce, although we may want to grab the Department of Supply and Development sometime soon. I did want to get those dockyards fairly quickly there. Just checking through the rest of this. That's pretty much all cost reductions, so I'm not necessarily too keen on that. For now, we're to grab this military factory, but getting the 3 dockyards is a pretty huge deal. We're going to assign this division in over here. And for the moment, I do want to take a look at what we are producing. Okay, so we're just working on that for the moment. We're at -2 steel, and that will eventually improve as we finish up our excavation technology. We're about to finish up construction too, and that will help our construction speeds, of course. We can grab excavation too anytime we want. 0.65 years? Okay. I'm very tempted to go for concentrated industry too, and I think we'll go ahead and do that for now. We will get some military research going somewhat soon. The Hindenburg incident. Oh, it survived. Disaster was narrowly averted today when a diesel fuel leak was discovered on the German passenger airship Hindenburg as it came into dock at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in the United States. The leak was promptly repaired. Had it gone unnoticed, flammable vapor could have resulted in a fire that would have engulfed the entire airship. Critics have long questioned the wisdom of passenger airships given their spotty safety records, and this incident is bound to make them even more vocal. A close call. Well, that's looking suspiciously like a German empire. Hi, August von Mackensen. Okay. So that's exciting for them, I'm sure. Looks like Spain is beating nationalist Spain, at least so far. Interesting. We'll see if any other factions build up over there. Now, our major concern right now is definitely in our recruitable manpower growth. And we can't go down to limited conscription, because we have to complete the focus citizen military forces to do that. So in order to get that, we have to come down here, which requires establish advisory war council, which means that we have to be at war or more than 20% world tension. So that's not something we can go after to bank manpower for the moment. It would be something I'd be very interested in doing under most circumstances. But for now, that's not something that is a possibility, sadly. But we're going to have this economic growth done soon. And then I think we may continue to work down our ships focus tree, or we may grab Never Another Gallipoli here. Protect the Homeland, I feel like, is pretty good. And we definitely want to go down this route as it is. We don't want to go down this route over here. So that is a route that we could take, and we don't have to sever ties with the UK. We can go down the SWPA menace into Woo USA into Southwest Pacific Initiative, which is what we want to do to create that faction, and we get the event Australia as a global leader, which is, of course, our goal. So we'll see how that ends up going. We can modify our officer corps. For the moment, I think I'm more concerned about spending our political power over here in our government. But I did... Oh, there's the Regional Defense Council of Aragon. Okay, sure. I did want to get some experience coming in here. There's an anarchist uprising. Cool. Continued government ascents, apparently, attempts at reasserting centralized control over the mostly independently acting anarchist communes in northeastern Spain, as well as Stalinist repression of dissident communist viewpoints, has now led to full-blown infighting in the Republican front. Initially limited to street fighting and low-scale clashes between militias and government or Stalinist forces, the unwillingness for either side to compromise has meant that the conflict has rapidly escalated. I can't talk. Wow. Has rapidly escalated in just a few days. The reallocation of military resources to deal with this internal threat means the front lines against the nationalists have been noticeably weakened. The Republicans hardly need outside assistance to lose. Well, they were winning before. So that statement was maybe not necessarily true, but it's going to be tougher for them now, for sure. Amelia Earhart did not make it. Okay, there's little hope of finding them. Sad. Wouldn't it be wild if the Regional Defense Council of Aragon won? I don't think I've ever seen that happen. But we'll find out. Whoa, okay. Okay. So, we finished up the Department of Supply and Development. We are going to immediately work, I think, on Never Another Gallipoli. There we go. And Canada is seeking immediate patriation. After breakdowns in negotiations with Westminster and an unprecedented 63-hour debate, the Canadian Parliament has overturned the British North America Act, instead enshrining the Canadian Constitution in laws untouchable by the British Parliament or monarchy. Although not an anti-British move in its own right, it signals a move away from the Commonwealth policies of the old empire. While a natural step to take for any country wanting to ensure their future stability, it does nothing to alleviate the already tense state of global politics. So Canada is going alone. They're still the Dominion of Canada for now, but they're going down the route of exiting the Commonwealth. Okay, good to know. The Fourth International happens. That's very normal. So how many internationals will there be? And we have a free military factory. I'm going to toss this. We want to have at least a towed artillery being made. That would be helpful. Now, we don't have any template that uses that currently, so we wouldn't necessarily mind editing our infantry division to just have a single unit of support artillery for now. There we go. So we'll get that in there. That will be fine. And yes, that does nothing to help our manpower situation. That's okay. We're going to need to change our recruitment laws for sure. But for now, it's fine. At least we're not on disarmed nation. That would be awkward. That would be incredibly awkward. We can modify our government for our industrial concern. Electronics research speed would be pretty decent. At least for now. Both of these would be good, actually. I think we'll save up for political power to get those. And we'll just let that go for the moment. So, Spain, how you doing? Opening this front has definitely hurt Spain. Republican Spain down here was definitely beating nationalist Spain. But with the communists over here, I'm not sure if they'll continue with that. They are definitely continuing to push in. If they can just hold the Regional Defense Council of Aragon along largely this line, giving maybe a tiny bit of ground, that would be fine. Okay, so we're currently out of manpower. I'm going to cease recruitment. Okay. We're going to bank manpower for the next while. We're not getting much. We're not getting much at all. There's Carlist Spain. Declaring war on the Regional Defense Council of Aragon, Spain, and National Spain. This is now a 4-horse race. However, Carlist Spain took a lot of territory from Nationalist Spain when they spawned, and I feel like Republican Spain still has the upper hand here. Wary of being increasingly sidelined and having their influence over the nationalist front more and more curtailed, the Carlist forces under Manuel Falcondi have renounced their affiliation with the nationalist cause. Declaring their own independent insurrection, Carlist Requites, I'm probably butchering that, predominantly in the north of the country, have turned against their erstwhile allies, all while at the same time continuing the fight against their Republican enemies. The effects on their military position in the Civil War are being downplayed by the national leadership, but it is evident that the current chaos presents ample opportunity, I read ahead, to the Republicans. Yes, the Republican Spain here is loving what's going on here. Absolutely. That's very good for Republican Spain. So, we'll let that go. Concentrated industry has finished up, and next up I think we're going to go for probably Excavation 2. I think that's the obvious choice here. Actually, yeah, Excavation 2. Okay, we'll let that go, and we'll check in again once Excavation 1 finishes up here in a couple days. The public opposes rearmament. In the upcoming election, support for Labour is still high, the people having confidence in John Curtin's leadership. However, the party's pursuit of increasing Australia's focus on military matters has not been entirely popular with the public, with a significant segment of the citizens considering this ill-advised jingoism. War is yet to reach our border, and few would like to see Australia take aggressive action. Cooperating with other major parties who share our concerns for the safety of the nation, we will still be able to rule after the election, albeit with diminished support. So we can either add early mobilization, so that would bump us back from partial mobilization back to early, or we could gain base stability -5 and base war support -5. I think that's okay. Cool. So, what else can we do here? We could do promises of peace. And we're going to do that. Cool. Australia seeks distance from Commonwealth. Indeed. In a speech this morning, Prime Minister John Curtin announced the Australian government's dedication to growth and stability as an oceanic state. This means looking to new shores than those of Britain's Europe, as the Australian people can no longer bear the weight of foreign conflicts on their shoulders. In a direct reference to the King's speech at the open of the last Parliament, John Curtin hit the point home by stating, "Never another Gallipoli." The rapturous cheers from the crowds indicate a new era of Australian politics has begun. Where will it end? The world can only begin to speculate. We stake our own path. Fantastic. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will continue to get distance from the UK. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including, I just updated my notepad and I closed it. Fantastic. Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.